According to Book of Jubilees, Ham, after his youngest son Canaan was cursed in 1321 AM, he left Mount Ararat and built a city named for his wife on the south side of the mountain. So you can see at the map, Mount Ararat is in Turkey, by the border of Turkey, Armenia, and Iran. In 1569 AM, he received a third division of the earth along with his two brothers for his inheritance, everything west of the Nile River and to the south of Gadea. So again, you can see the map. West side, which is left half of Egypt all the way to Spain, was his and his children. However, they didn't go there. They didn't move there. In 1639 AM, when the nations were scattered following the failure of the Tower of Babel, Ham and his children journeyed to their allotment with the exception of Canaan, who settled in Sham's territory, thus receiving another curse. So by the time Cush, his son, and then his grandson Nimrod, they both of them were born in Turkey. And when Nimrod started his empire in Iraq, expand to Iraq and expand to Iran, Syria, Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Lebanon is so later it to Israel and then Egypt. So when the Tower of Babel fell, collapsed, God punished Nimrod, right? And crushed Tower of Babel and then have people scattered to different places of the earth and speak different languages. Then Ham and his children moved to Egypt and the west side of the Egypt, which is Africa, right? So technically, the whole time they were living in Turkey, and Nimrod was born in Turkey, and when they established the empire, which is Nimrod and Semiramis, then Ham and the other children moved to Egypt. So that is a proof, the major proof that Ham was not black, and Ham and his children, grandchildren were not black and were not born in Africa. So look at that here. Again, Noah wasn't Ham's biological father. Ham, most likely his that his father was a Nephilim, offspring of Cain, which is offspring of Satan, and so Ham was a hybrid, giant human hybrid. So he's huge and he is not black. He is ugly and cunning. Ham means the backs of the thighs or the thighs and buttocks, which is like, back of the thighs is usually wrinkles and not pleasant, the look of it. So it's ugly. So he's ugly and he's cunning. Okay. So, which means, first of all, he's not black. His name doesn't mean black. It means ugly because he's a giant. He looks weird, a hybrid. The Nephilim, they look like a clown. That's why they promote clown and try to make clown famous, right? So, and let's see, and they hadn't moved to Egypt and the other part of Africa until later. Deified Cush was revered as several gods of ancient mythology. Canaanites worshipped him as Baal or Baal. So Cush is Baal or Baal. And he was their most important god. Baal worship was an abomination to God and a major factor provoking his judgment on the Canaanites and Israelites. The prophet Jeremiah spoke the word of God to the Israelites who had participated in Baal worship. Listen, I am going to bring a disaster on this place that will make the ears of everyone who hears of it tingle. So this is done, and let's see. Okay. God executed that judgment shortly thereafter when King Nebuchadnezzar's Babylonian army destroyed Jerusalem. Many Jews who survived the onslaught were taken to Babylon to live the rest of their lives in slavery. Babel means the gate of God, but it also means son of Bel. Perhaps Nimrod named the city of Babel after himself as the son of Bel, Cush. So now we know Ba or Bel is Cush and then Babel is Nimrod, gate of God or son of Bel. The Egyptians commemorated Cush as the god Hermes, which means son of Ham. Hermes was recognized as the author of religious rites and the interpreter of the gods. Ancient mythology describes Hermes as the interpreter of languages. Mercury was another name for the god Hermes. Mercury purported divided the speech of men. The name Bel also means the confounder. Cush likely assisted in the planning of and building of the Tower of Babel. He initiated the rebellion against God. Indeed, he named his son Nimrod, which means rebel, to rebel. The mythological names of Cush suggest his sin was an inciting curse for God's worldwide judgment, the confusion of languages. Cush was known as the ancient god Janus, and all gods supposedly originated from him. People of iniquity recorded a statement Janus reportedly made about himself. The ancient called me Chaos. Chaos is the god of confusion and is derived from the name Cush. The symbol connected with Janus is a club, and its Babylonian name means to break in pieces or to shatter abroad. The sin of Cush broke the one language of mankind and caused the chaos of languages that shattered man abroad. Janus and Vulcan are names for the same god. Vulcan broke and divided the world with a stroke of his well-known hammer. Excuse me. So his name is the curse of the sin that technically excuse me him, his son, and Semiramis. Not necessarily only him, because broke the one language of mankind is not because of him alone. So he is a harbinger, I could say, right? Because his eldest son actually built that Tower of Babel. Nimrod forced his subjects to worship him as a military and political hero. See, nobody worshiped him. He forced people to worship him. So, he proclaimed himself high priest of the mystery religion of Babylon. Semiramis deified Nimrod after his death. Nimrod's Babylonian followers worshipped him as Marduk, the god of war and fortresses. Tower of Babel was built during Nimrod's empires. I think it's between, of course, the first one is Sumer and then Akkadian and Assyrian is during this time. Then God's punishment and destroyed the Tower of Babel and separate the people and spread them out in different parts of the world and introduce 72 languages. So after the flood, only a short time of period, people in the world spoke one language and they were living in one world under Nimrod's rule. One world, one language, and one religion. So I think it's beginning of Egyptian empire, which is Nimrod's brother Egypt. He started the ancient Egyptian empire. At that time, people speak different languages and lived different parts of the world. Nimrod, darkness in the cradle of civilization. Nimrod was born into a new world, recently recreated by God after his judgment had rendered the old world devoid of human and animal life, except for that which had survived in the ark built by Noah and his sons. The new world was initially untainted by the wickedness of the pre-Diluvian world. However, innocence did not last long. The prince of darkness wasted no time sowing seeds of rebellion in the fertile hearts of the human survivors. Satan handpicked Nimrod to transform the new world into a cauldron of rebellion. The first book of the Bible, Genesis, briefly mentions that Nimrod developed a reputation as a mighty hunter. A search of ancient historical records supports this biblical reference. Extra biblical information suggests that Nimrod hunted large animals and even trained a leopard to assist him in his hunting excursions. I think here say trained is really maybe using witchcraft because Nimrod was a Nephilim, and the fallen angels' offsprings, they know witchcraft and dark magic. Nimrod extended his reputation as a mighty hunter to become a mighty warrior. He and his people invented weapons of warfare to inflict punishment and death upon those who did not follow his leadership. It sounds like the UNSNA right now. The chariot, bows and arrows, spears, helmets and shields were initially invented by his people, which is the fallen angels' offsprings. Nimrod established an empire in the Mesopotamia Valley. He killed and enslaved thousands in cities he conquered and built. The methods of torture and mutilation he promoted became the foundation of conquering civilizations that would follow him for millennia down to this present time into this upcoming end times one world, one religion. Decapitation, dismemberment, and torture used by mankind's right now actually is by the human hybrids. The fallen angels' offsprings have their roots in the evil schemes concocted by Nimrod, the first, ruling hybrid. Okay, because Ham he didn't create a large, huge empire, and also Cush. So Nimrod was the first after the flood. In the same geographic area of the Middle East, Nimrod is considered an ancient hero of this region. Okay, that's what they said, but who knows, right? Ancient cities of Iraq have been named after him. Nimrod is the father of human deification. So he invented this, deified human, said that human can be God, right? That's the concept coming from him and Semiramis, his wife. He forced his subjects to worship him as a god and his wife as a goddess. He became the sun god and the god of warfare after his death. His wife was deified as the fertility and love goddess, and they worshipped for thousands of years after their death. Nimrod established the mystery religion of Babylon that include human deification, child and human sacrifice, prostitution, divination, idol worship, and Satan worship. He considered the unwilling to accept these things and killed many who believed in the true God of creation, the God of Noah. That is coming back right after the tsunami and mega earthquakes and World War III. The New World Order, aka actually is Old World Order. When they bring him back, he will be the Antichrist. I believe they will then reveal him as a green Nephilim, green alien, because right now they're promoting aliens everywhere. In TV series, a lot of TV series are about aliens living among us and being our neighbors and etc. And then movies and novels and books. And then so-called scientists. They claim themselves are scientists. They claim themselves as experts. The ultimate abomination, the Tower of Babel, described in Genesis chapter 11, finally elicited God's judgment and the dispersion of mankind around the world, and the establishment of different languages. So I believe that's when either God or the fallen angel experiments on human to introduce us in different skin tones. Because before I don't know how long ago, because we create history stories, right? So the original humans, they were clay color, like a little bit reddish, brownish color. It's like a milk tea. If you have had milk tea before, I think it's that color. It's not brown, it's not red, it's not black, it's not white, it's not yellow, it's not green. It's milk tea color, light color. But right now, people like the duality. They like to divide. They are enjoying the argument between two different things. So they arguing black and white. Neither of the color. Okay. The skin colors right now, I believe, maybe is results of the human experimentations from the fallen angels on human, because they've been changing our body physically, so we technically not as before. They tainted our blood, our DNA, our genome, etc. So I believe they also tainted our skin colors, eye colors, hair colors, and everything. And the languages, they changed over times. At first, God introduced different languages, then the fallen angels manipulate the languages and create new languages that now we're speaking. Unfortunately, the inventions of warfare, human deification, polytheism, astrology, and ancient pyramids were exported around the world also. These were used by the prince of the of this world, Satan, to perpetrate false religions from the dawn of the post-Diluvian civilization to this present time. History and archaeology have chronicled the worldwide spread of all of this. So the beginning of it all is from Nimrod, and of course it will end in Nimrod right now. Conclusion. Many similarities exist between Nimrod's time and this present age. A plethora of inventions and technological advances were present then as today. Human achievements, however, have never impressed God. The Bible records very few of them. Many scriptures record the depravity of mankind. God sees the wickedness and moral corruption that reigns throughout the world. Pride, immorality, and idol worship never fail to move his holy wrath. The Tower of Babel demonstrated this. The Bible teaches a man like Nimrod, motivated by pride and rebellion and empowered by Satan, is about to step onto the stage of human history. He will oppose God and brutally persecute his followers. God's judgment will fall once again in the last days of the new world. Look up. His coming draws near.